Hi, everybody. Welcome to Majestic Mayhem. I'm Death Dealer.
And I'm Pink Piggles.
Welcome back, everybody. uh, Hope y'all don't mind. This is the middle of the thing. I am wearing long sleeves tonight because it's below 80 degrees in Florida. And while I am inside with the air conditioner on, it's different.
But I love the 80 degrees. That's the threshold. That's why I was laughing. 80 degrees. Freezing.
Yeah, yeah. I get cold. Brr.
Whereas
And
we're arguing over the heat because he wants to turn it on and I don't want to turn it on because I don't, right? Like, cause I know what the bill's going to be. And I'm like, oh, we're fighting because it's dropping down into the 40s.
mhm. Well, see,
So,
I will push it, and I won't turn the heat on until it hits somewhere in the 60s usually, because I'll keep my house usually at 74. So
mhm.
70 and 68 don't usually bother me. It's usually after 68 I'm like, okay, it's I can't wear enough clothing. I can't
Yeah.
wear three pairs of socks all the time. I need
Yep.
I need my toes to breathe. So we're gonna have to turn the heat on
Yeah.
a little
See, I don't want to freeze. Like, I'm one of those people. I had a roommate once and she kept the heat at like 58 or something ridiculous. I would lay in bed in sweatpants, socks, a t-shirt, a long sleeve shirt, and a sweatshirt, multiple blankets, and I would still shiver. Like it was freezing. I will never do that to myself. Like I definitely want to be comfortable, but it's always I don't want to turn the heat on because it's I think it's going to be in the 70s this week. So like it gets cold, but then it goes warm. I want to wait till we actually like cold, then I'll turn the heat on and be comfortable and
bit. Oh yeah, that's pretty
yeah.
much. I'm my heat won't be on until it gets and stays cold. Because
Yeah.
yeah, right now it drops to maybe in the high 50s, the mid 60s, and then by noon it starts creeping back into the 70s again. It's like there's absolutely no way.
Yeah.
No, I'm not getting rid of free air conditioning. Are you kidding
No.
me? I'll let my house get down to 50. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. My husband
Yeah.
gets a little upset. Believe it or not, I mean, he likes it drives me insane. He refuses to wear jackets and long sleeves most of the time. Like, I'm constantly yelling at him when it is cold outside. Put some clothes on, and he'll wear shorts outside like it's nothing, and I'm like, okay, but
Yeah.
when it comes to the house, he doesn't like it that cold.
Well, see,
68's about his threshold.
that's the same thing. Perry's the same way. He's wearing shorts and a tank top, and he's complaining that's cold in the house. And I've got sweatpants and slippers on, and it's like, okay, again, I'm not keeping the heat at in the 50s. Like we're going to be comfortable, but I'm not putting the heat at 75 or something. Like one, that's gonna be way too hot, but two, like we got oil. I mean, no, that's just way too much. But I mean, put long pants on.
I'm not turning my heat past 70. You get no.
No,
Mm-mm.
no,
Too high. That's too high. It's too much. It's
yeah.
too much. No. Put some clothes on.
Let me tell you though, when it gets cold, it takes me like, I don't know, 3, 4 months before I'm tired of winter. It
Mhm.
takes one hot day and I'm done. It hits 80 one day and I'm done with summer. I've had enough.
See, the winter is funny for me because we don't have snow. So
Hmm.
I don't have to deal with the same issues that
Yeah,
a lot of people do when it comes to the winter. It could stay winter all year long for all I
yeah,
really care. I mean, our winter is so jacked up. We have like a week, like an actual, like a full week. And that's really it. Everything else is just fluctuations of temperature. And it gets up to like the mid 70s. I mean, realistically, that's not really anything to
yeah.
complain about, or you know, I mean, it makes me laugh when people that live here, I do know, complain and they're like, I'm tired of it. I'm like, I'd better not hear you complain when
Yeah,
it's 98 degrees out in the middle of July.
and humid and gross. Yeah,
Oh, it gets so heavy sometimes. It's like it feels like it's a thousand. Like as a matter of fact, when we were putting up the trail one day, a couple of last month, last month, as a matter of fact, yes, September,
yeah,
folks. It was 98 degrees with a feels like
Oh my
with
God.
humidity 102 degrees
Ugh.
in the shade.
So I'd be
It
inside my house in air conditioning.
If you have asthma, you were going to have an asthma attack just
Yeah.
walking outside that day. It was so heavy. I'm standing there and I'm like, I'm breathing heavy as if I have breathing problems. Like, this is not, no, I'm not that out of shape. I didn't think I was. The weather proves me wrong on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Apparently, it tells me you are not that young woman. You're getting kind of old, Death. You need to relax before someone has to drag your corpse through the woods.
So who come and gets you when you die? If you you can't get yourself.
No, that would be the next in line.
Okay, you have to pick your. Do you
Yeah,
get to pick your successor?
not a chance. No.
You're just gonna find out because
You
someone's
think
coming to take you.
you think someone chose me? I appreciate the thought, but you would have to be insane to pick me out of the crowd. No.
Well, but that's why you're the perfect pick for Death Dealer. It's not like they picked you to be rainbows and sunshine and sing kumbaya, right? I mean, they picked you for Death Dealer.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. You have a point there. Yeah. So maybe there is something to it. As far as I know, I don't have a say yet. It could change though. It could change. I won't say never. I mean, I could take the next Reaper out with me at the same time.
Maybe that's why you're not supposed to know who it is, so you don't take them out with you. Maybe that's part of the plan.
I mean, we've all seen Supernatural. You can kill a Reaper if you try hard enough. Oh, hi guys. Hi Batman. Hi Axel. Long time no see, friend. It's been a rough month, guy. It's been a rough month.
I know you've had a busy few weeks between weather and trail and setting up the trail and setting up the trail again and setting up the trail again.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, in all the years I've done this, I've never had to set up and take down so many times. And I've also not had to repair as many. And I've had hurricanes come through my trail before. There was one year, it was a good thing we closed our trail one night after a hurricane because right in the middle of our trail where mom was standing, tree limb fell off of the tree.
Ooh.
So it's a good thing we weren't there
Yeah.
that night. But yeah, this is the most I've ever had to. I've never had to take my animatronics down and put them back together so many times.
I know it's already a chore. You said how it's easy because you know how to do it, but it's time consuming and have to do it multiple times. Oh,
yeah, and to make it funnier, the last time I put them up this past week, where I was putting them back up, I was telling Mom she's standing there and she's doing lights because we had, of course, our lights break. You know, why would you have 700 feet of lighting in trees not snap in the winds and the hurricane? I mean, that's just crazy talk.
yeah. 20-foot strand of lights can't break. It's gonna have these 700-foot strand of lights.
Yeah, it's got to be the big guy, guy, and the pain in the butt, so you're not getting up the ladder again.
Yeah.
My favorite was somebody was like, "It's fine, we can repair it." I'm like, "Where are you pulling out a 700-foot strand of lights?"
Yeah.
Those were special order. You're not walking into Walmart. I wish you could. Last I checked, they don't carry that. But I mean, if you find someone that does, by all means,
Yeah.
let me know. I had to order them online, but yeah, she's sitting there doing lights, and I'm like, I don't want to do this again. I'm not putting up my animatronics. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this a third time. You're crazy. This is insanity. This is the very definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. And I'm like, this is insanity. And she's like, no, you're going to put the animatronics back together. And I really don't think I want to do that. I genuinely don't want to do it. I really don't. I don't want to put them up again. I don't care. You're going to put the animatronics
You're gonna
up.
do it.
You're going to do it again. No, Mom, don't think I'm doing it this time. I don't know. There's nothing anyone's going to say. No, I don't think so. No, I'm not doing it. I put the animatronics together.
Doesn't matter how old you are, your moms can still make you do it.
Moms can still make you do anything they
Yep.
want you to do, just about. They might get old, they might get crippled, they might technically be much weaker than you. They're still just as terrifying as they were when you were 8 years old.
Yep.
At least the women in my family are absolutely horrifyingly terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who isn't scared of my mom. There aren't many people on the planet that I'm like, I'm not arguing with this person. I'm not doing that. My
She's
mom
one
is
of them.
that person.
Yeah.
She's that person. My friend and I were talking about it one day, and she's like, doesn't your mom just drive you crazy sometimes? I'm like, all the time. All the time. She drives me nuts. Don't you want to argue with her? Absolutely. So do you guys argue? Absolutely. I've never seen you guys argue because I don't argue with her in person.
I value my life. I don't argue with her in person.
I argue with my mom on the phone. It is the safest way to do
Yep.
so. That disappointed and I'm about to slap you look that those moms get, that's a whole different generation of
Yeah.
FA or what is it? FAFO.
Yep.
Go ahead. I dare you. That's my mom's favorite line. I dare you. It's where I get it from. I say the same thing to my kid. I know exactly what it. Go ahead. I dare you.
Do parents still have that these days? Like I remember, my dad would just look at us and like you knew like, oh, I'm in for it. As soon as we get home, I am in for it. I fucked up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it depends on the parent. I do know quite a few parents like me that do somewhat of that old school parenting. We're not. A lot of us aren't as extreme per se as our parents were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am a lot more lenient than my mom was. However, I do. When my daughter was a toddler, if you told her no, she'd start crying. And then I figured out this other neat trick. If I just told her not cool, she'd bust out into tears and stop whatever she was doing. Like, and then over the years, I developed the mom look. Yeah. I had good practice with my siblings. And I've told my kid before, honey, you don't stand a chance. I've already raised kids. They are all adults. There is nothing you can do that would surprise me and that you can think you're going to get away with. Because if I didn't do it, I can promise you right now, your uncles or your aunts did it. One of them did this. Good luck. I have no patience, and I know everything. Everything. Drives her crazy, but hey, she's well behaved.
Well, that's good though. I know you didn't want to set it up, and it was a pain. But hopefully now that you did it, hopefully you're glad you set it up. Hopefully you have another good weekend left to go.
Yep.
Hopefully it's all worth it in the end.
Well, Friday had better be the best night. It had better be the most amazing night. Well, it's my birthday next Friday. I'm turning super old. The world will not be ending this Friday. Congratulations. You get to live the weekend. I can promise the apocalypse isn't starting this week. And then Saturday will be our final night running the trail. So it's going to be a good time as well. See how many people we can scar and terrorize and send to therapy. It's a good choice. We had someone come through. There was a group of guys that came up, and the one guy's looking at me, and he goes, I just want to let you know right now Goes, if you scare me, I have IBS. I will poop my pants.
Why is he going to a haunted house? Seems like the wrong place to go.
I have no idea. I'm just standing there looking at him, and I'm like, okay. Like, I hope you have extra pants in the car, my guy.
Hope you're wearing it depends.
It's about to get real for your friends. And I looked at his friends. I was like, I'm going to apologize in advance because you are going to have one stinky ride home. I was like, he's joking, right? Like, he's not serious, is he? He's not gonna. And there was one friend looks at me and he goes, "Oh no, he's serious." And I just looked at him and I was like, I mean,
you came with him.
I've had some strange friends over the years with some odd disabilities and things. I mean, I'm a rando myself. I'm allergic to the most random thing on the planet. Who's allergic to a random fruit, for crying out loud? IBS that you can get startled and poop your pants. That sounds like a horrifying.
Like I said, why would you go to a place where the whole point of going to a haunted house is to get scared? Don't go to some place knowing that that's going to trigger
Maybe
your
they
IBS.
didn't think it was going to be that scary. Maybe they didn't think it would be that scary for them.
Stay with the other attractions. I don't know.
I've had people
go to a corn maze.
They'll ask me, "Is it as scary as the other trail, or is it as scary as the train ride or whatever?" And I'm like, well, one, there's nobody on the train side, so yeah, it's definitely scarier than the train because there's nobody jumping out at you there.
Well, that's not even designed to be scary, is it?
Not really, no.
It's just
no.
Spooky decorations, not.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, they do have a clown area this year, but okay. And if you're terrified of clowns, yeah, I guess that could be considered, a scare area. But that's one small spot. So I mean, when people ask me that, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's scarier than the train ride. Is it scarier than the other trail? Depends on how you're grading it. Everything's put on its own scale, so it depends on how you're grading it. I mean, for some people, yes, it's much more terrifying than the other trail. For some people, no, it's much more boring than the other trail. It depends on what you want and what you like. I mean, we're not exactly the same. We've got two different groups of people working them, and two different groups of people that set them up.
I just can't believe he actually said that, though. Like I said, the haunted house would be the last, or haunted trail would be the last place I would go to.
I had someone with a toddler ask me if it was too scary for their toddler, and I was just like, your kid's not going to understand anything, so no.
Yeah.
The kid is 2 years old. It understands food and sleep. That's about all we've got going for the most part. And family. Like,
yeah.
This kid's not going to remember anything tomorrow. Let it go. Then there's people that crack me up, and they come through with their kids and they're like, don't scare my kid. Why'd you bring him to a haunted tree in the middle of the woods?
Yeah.
What part of that sounded inviting for a child? I don't.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're going to be up for the next week every night in the middle of the night because your kid's going to see me in their closet scared when they start closing their eyes. Sweet dreams.
So Axel said him and his wife are going to turn off the lights, get naked, and yell like they're scared. Hope it doesn't trigger your IBS. There's no accident in the bed.
Oh, gosh. You'd be surprised at some of the things people come through and yell when they get nervous or get scared. It's real funny. It can be real entertaining. I've had guys offer their girlfriends and their wives over. I didn't think that really happened too often. I thought that was a random thing. And for a little while, it kind of was. Not so much anymore. It is absolutely equal opportunity as far as everybody's concerned. You are absolutely, you're on your own. Save yourself, girlfriend, because he ain't safe.
Yeah.
You.
When I get scared, I just make this really weird noise. It's just like this involuntary noise that comes out of me of like I can't even do it. If I'm not scared, I can't make the noise. But it's kind of just like a kind of noise. I don't know. It's just hysterical because I make the noise because I get startled or scared. But then I know that I made the noise and then I just laugh.
That's funny. That's great. Oh, I like getting scared. I scream and then I laugh.
Yeah.
I laugh right afterwards. I've confused many of people by that because walking through a haunted house and I'm just and I scream, jump, and they'll look at me and they're doing their thing and I just start cracking up
Yep.
because this is why I'm here. This is what I came for, and it's funny to me
Yeah.
afterwards. So I laugh.
Well, it is because you know that you're not like in true danger. It's not you know what it is. So you get that moment of being scared, and then when you realize, then it's funny. Then you can laugh about it. But I think that's what makes it fun, though.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a safe environment to be scared. That's what I always tell
Yeah,
people. I'm like, it's a safe environment to get scared in. So, I mean, as long as you're comfortable with that, then by all means.
yeah,
But I am still and always will forever be against places that touch you
hmm
for multiple reasons.
yeah.
I can't account for their safety, so do those at your own risk. I'm talking about a normal haunted house you don't need a waiver for.
Yeah.
There's something to be said if they're talking about you could be touched, separated, grabbed, and like oh, there's this haunted trail by us. I saw the ad a couple of days ago, and I had to tell Dreadpool I was dying when I saw this ad. Um, it was a review from some people that had gone. They were all excited and so happy because they had done the interactive tour
hmm
and the guy was holding up his arm in the picture and he had poop all over it. And he's like, yeah, they grabbed us and smeared poop on me. It was great. I'm going back. And I'm like, oh,
That's disgusting.
I don't
Why?
care if it's real or not.
Yeah,
No.
I don't care if it's chocolate pudding. The fact that they're trying to make me think that it's poop, and who says that's great? I'm going back. They smeared poop on my arm. This is amazing.
No. That's so,
Oh, that's
so,
so gross. That's so gross. Like I said, I don't care if it's chocolate pudding. If you make me think that you smeared poop on me, no way. No.
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 I remember there was a trail
And
I
I
went
wouldn't
to.
well, I was gonna say, and I wouldn't leave it on me long enough to take a photo, right? Wouldn't you brush it? Wouldn't you try to wipe it off immediately?
I, I mean,
He walked through the rest of the house with it on him?
listen, you put poop on me and I'm fighting you. We are swinging. You had better be
Yeah.
able to
That's
stand your ground
ugh.
for at least a few rounds because I mean, I want to be able to beat you to a pulp and not feel guilty. So I'm expecting you to be able to swing. You put poop on me, we're fighting. Like there's nope. I'm catching a charge. We're all going to jail. It's gonna be a real fun time.
So disgusting. So disgusting.
Mhm.
Axel said it's scat-tastic.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was gross because they had a room one year that you had to walk through like bathroom stalls, like for like a school, and the whole theme was like an orphanage. So you had to walk through
Okay.
school bathrooms, and it was so nasty. They had set it up to like it was overflowing broken toilets and clogged sinks and all stuff smeared on the walls and everything and I got past all of that. I didn't even really care because I'm like, I'm not touching it. I'm literally just walking through the room.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm a mom for crying out loud. The things I've had on me, that means nothing.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to touch it, we're fine. What did it for me though is they had an actual like smell. Like it smelled like an actual
Overflowing
bunch of
bathroom.
overflowing toilets and sewage, and it was so disgusting. My eyes started watering,
Why?
and
Why?
my friend was with us when we were walking through, and I grabbed a hold of her hand and just started like speed walking because I and she's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm like, I can't do this smell.
Yeah.
I can't." And she's like, "Don't you?" And I'm like, "I honestly don't care what's in there. I couldn't tell you really who and what they were doing. I know there was a guy. Don't care. Didn't care."
Can you imagine that you're the actor who has to spend the whole night in the overflowing bathroom that smells like an overflowing bathroom?
No, because I wouldn't do it. You couldn't pay me enough to do it. There's absolutely
Then you know
there's not enough good karma on
his
the planet to
his
make me do
clothes are gonna
that.
smell like it. Like he's gonna get in his car when he leaves, and he's gonna smell like it. Since car is gonna
His
smell like it.
hair, his hair
Ugh.
is gonna smell like it. Because I mean, I don't know if everybody. I don't know if short hair is the same way long hair is, but if you sit in a smell long enough, your
Hmm.
hair
Absorbs it.
reeks of that
Yeah.
for until you wash it. So I mean, oh no,
So gross.
not happening. No, thank you. Well, now that we've grossed ourselves out, thoroughly done that, and possibly grossed out you as well, you're welcome. Um, let's discuss the horror movie for, well, the topic for tonight actually is slasher movies and monster movies. Um,
Yes.
I personally feel like those two topics can kind of intertwine. Obviously, they can be both their own separate categories, but some particular characters, monsters, can easily go into both categories
Yep.
because they are technically creatures. So,
So I've actually seen movies in these categories, so I'm ready to go.
love it. Love it. Great. I love it. You're prepared tonight.
Yes.
I'm coming prepared. That's fantastic. Okay, well, I will let you go first then.
Okay, so I didn't. The thing is, though, I didn't pick one specific movie. I'm picking the like series of movies because I see movies, but I don't necessarily remember all of them, so I can't. Unless I went back and watched them all, I could not pick my favorite one.
Hmm.
But I'm going to go with the Nightmare on Elm Street movies because I love Freddy Krueger as a character. He is one of my favorite horror characters that exists. So I think he fits kind of as a monster, even though he's a person. He kind of is in the monster realm, and he's slasher because he slashes people. But I just think the concept of what he does, how he goes in your dreams, I just love the concept of that. I think it's great.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
So,
I've always liked Nightmare on Elm Street.
mhm.
And Freddy Krueger is one of my well, I think he's a lot of people's favorites and somebody that a lot of people think of when they think of horror movies.
Yes.
It's such a classic series franchise. There are so many good kills and special effects, and there are some really corny,
Yes.
terrible jokes that just make it amazing.
Yep.
Um, I personally think that the stupid humor and the bad dad jokes he tells sometimes, like honestly, make the character and they make the movie, and that's why I was so disappointed with the remake that they
Oh yeah.
did.
Oh, we're not even talking that. We're talking about Robert England,
Yes,
Nightmare on
yeah,
Elm Street. That's what we're talking about. All the Robert England
yes,
ones. We're not
yes.
even talking about
No,
the remakes.
the remake is
Prime time, bitch. Right?
terrible.
Like,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
Robert England is amazing.
And
Supposedly they're going to be doing a new one with him. I hear. I don't know
I
how true
hope that would
that
be amazing. I
is.
just, I like him too because in a lot of monster slasher movies, it's somebody who is physically large and just, you have a giant person who can just pummel you. Freddy Krueger's not. He's
Yeah,
not super tall. He's not very big, right? So that's why I like that the way that he terrorizes you is not just pure power of you drank you were doing underage drinking, so now you're gonna die, right?
Mm,
Which I love those movies, and those movies have their place. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's why Freddy comes up on top for me, because it's more of a, he has other ways that he terrifies you and makes you afraid, and then you're powerless because you have to sleep.
mm.
You can't not ever sleep. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah. No, he is a good villain too. So,
yeah,
I mean, he deserved to die.
yes,
Per se, he deserved his justice. But it is an awfully cruel way, so you do feel for the guy at the same time. But he
yep,
makes no, there's no blurred line of trying to make you feel bad for him. So it's nice that they just made him just a straight villain.
yeah,
Um, I personally prefer the first. I think the first movie is probably my favorite from that series.
yep.
Yeah, yeah. And then I like the one with the guy. I can't think of which one it is. I think it's three. I want to say it's three, but they all have their moments. Like I said, they've
Yeah.
got amazing kills and bad dad jokes. Like, who doesn't
See,
love a villain that gives you a stupid one liner before he slaughters you?
it is, see, and I love like puns and all that stuff. So him giving just like the stupid little campy dad jokes, I love. That's for me. And yeah, so Frank said Freddy's the worst because he literally gets into your mind to find out your worst fears. And
Yeah,
it is, like I said, that's why Freddy is definitely my number one monster slasher. Whatever, however you want to categorize him, I don't know, but I figure he fits into this genre nicely.
Axel likes The Strangers. That was a decent movie. Um,
You don't even know what that one is.
it's the one with Liv Taylor, Tyler, Liv Tyler, and I can't think of the other guy's name. They go to a cabin. Three people show up. Yeah, it's three people. Three people wearing masks show up. Um, Essentially, kind of like the
Hmm.
Purge before the Purge. It's just a very, I'd say it's kind of a slow paced movie, though. It builds tension. It's very tension building.
Okay.
Builds a lot of tension. And it definitely plays the trope of character in the room with their back turned to the rest of the, to their back to the door, and the villain walking past the door real slow, and then the character turning back in time just to not see them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those
Hmm.
moments.
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
Not bad.
Sounds
Not
good.
bad. The second one, trying to, I know I think there's three of those movies now. I want to say there's three of them. I saw another one. I don't know if it was two or three though, but the
Yeah.
other one wasn't bad either. It was like a prequel to it or something, I think. So I mean, you kind of knew what was going to happen in a
Mhm.
way, but it was a nice ride. It was better than a lot of the
A
other
nice
ones.
ride.
I mean, it was better than okay. Oh, perfect. I'm going to everybody buckle up because I'm going to dump all over a movie, and it's a monster movie at that. Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Oh my god, I watched that pile of dog crap the other day. I was sitting around my house relaxing, and we had some time to kill before we went out to our haunted trail to terrorize the masses. And didn't have anything to really do, so I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this stupid movie. I heard it was out. I didn't hear anything else other than it was out.
Mhm.
I figured, oh, I'll watch it. Jeepers Creepers Reborn. It's been this big thing because they've gone back and forth on making another Jeepers Creepers. Are they going to reboot it? Are they going to just add to it? Are they whatever? Who cares? Uh, too much. It's a horror movie for crying out loud. And well, sat through it, and it was something I made the whole family sit through. I made the whole family sit through it because
If you were going to suffer, they were going to suffer? Is that why
Absolutely,
you
yeah.
made them
Well,
sit
I
through
mean,
it?
it's a Jeepers Creepers movie, so I figured I was like, there's not really going to be any sex. There hasn't been in any of these movies so
Yeah.
far. So, I mean, I highly doubt they're going to do it now. And if they do, I'm not dumb. I'm going to obviously pause it, tell my kid get out, and then fast forward it through the scene and tell her
Yeah.
to come back when it's done. But or we watched it. She thought it was dumb. She had the basic concept. Now she's never seen any of the other movies yet. We haven't sat down to
Okay.
watch them just because I honestly don't know why. We just haven't watched them yet. And she's like, "This is dumb. This is bad. This is why the main girl is dating the main guy in the movie." She looks pissed off and is pissed off the whole movie, to the point to where I sat there and kept asking, why are you together? I genuinely don't think whoever wrote this has any concept of relationships and how people, human people, interact, because she was just miserable the whole time. And I'm like, who? I'm sure. I know there are people that choose to be miserable in their lives and choose to be in toxic, horrible relationships. And I'm not saying these people do not exist, but for the most part, 20 somethings aren't usually doing that. They're not a part of that group on the wide band.
Well, it's weird too, because that's not normally the type of relationship you want to portray in a movie, unless it's like central to the storyline.
And it had nothing to do with
right?
it.
Like if it's just a background relationship, why like weird? Why would you not just have a normal couple?
They just set it up so strange. Like he was so nice and so loving and so caring. They made him like the golden retriever boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like they wanted you to fall in love with him and really adore him and hate her. And it's like, aren't you supposed to want the couple to succeed and make it through it? Because I mean, in a horror movie, if the couple breaks up, they're dying. They're going to, it's just a rule. If you can name a single horror movie where the couple in the movie breaks up and both of them survive, I will take back what I said. I will do a retraction. I will do an entire 2-minute video retracting what I said.
Yeah.
But that doesn't exist. It's a trope. You get into an argument or you break up and the other person storms off. So now you're each alone and one or both of you die next. So why were we trying to hate this couple together? And they made her, every time he suggests doing something, she didn't like it. She didn't want to do it. But then the next thing you know, she's not actually voicing her opinion of saying, I don't want to do this. But then the next thing you know, she does it.
It just seems annoying, and that it takes away from the movie because you're so caught up in what the hell is this? What is going on? Why are these people so weird?
It's just why are you still together? What? I don't understand that. And then there was a flash second of a random person on a phone call. Made no sense. We didn't bring anything out of it or wrap back around to it or nothing. We mentioned this fool one time to ourselves. We mumbled something to ourselves about it, and that was it. I understand that was also a body for the creature, but we could have added just random bodies. I mean, there's so much wrong with the movie. They changed the size of the creature. The creature is much smaller. It's much more pathetic looking. It kind of looks like a cross between a gremlin and an elf. It used to look kind of terrifying before.
Yes, because it doesn't sound very scary.
No, before the creature had these fanged teeth around its face, holding its face in because it could take its face out, and it was a hole. And he looks like a bad drunk elf gremlin hybrid, and he's average size.
Why wouldn't they have just kept the same design? right? Like, why would they have changed it? Because does he change throughout the other movies? Is he a
Not
different type of
really.
creature?
I mean, he changes a little bit because they weren't done very close together. So there's a little bit of variation, but for the most part, they tried to keep a lot of the major basic design.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's weird. You think that they would have kept the same basic design and then it just would have been modernized.
you would think he'd at least be taller than 5'7". That's what kept bringing it back out of the movie for me, is every time this thing would land next to a victim, it's like, seriously, dude, it's like you're looking at it.
Batman says that Jeepers Creepers Reborn was created by people that did not make the other films.
I said that exact same thing to I said that to my mom earlier today because she's like, how would you describe it? I was like, it was made by people that have never seen the other movies. That's my best way to put it. They never saw the other movies. That is exactly the truth. That's right. You nailed it right on the head, Batman. That's the truth. They never saw the other movies because it's just bad. The characters, there's not a single character in the bunch you like. And there's pieces that just don't make sense. It's too inconsistent and too many things just bring you back out of it going, why?
Yeah.
Like, I know it's small. There's another small thing where they're at like this convention type thing, and this guy's working at a stand. The stand was closed when the characters walked up to it. The guy came over and opened the stand for the characters to play the game, charged them $5 for the game, gave a free lesson to the other person that was there that didn't pay the $5, gave them a lesson after the person that paid the $5 did their turn, gave them the lesson, and then gave them free turns.
Yeah, that would never happen.
And then when the couple walked away, he closed the stand back down again, disappeared. I'm like, what carnies have you ever talked to?
What carny's giving anything away for free?
What? Not to mention, if
And why would they be closed?
Why would they open it for two people to charge $5?
Yeah.
Then close it down again. $5 is not enough to pay the fee.
No.
$5 isn't enough to pay for your gas that you had to use to get there. Like, it's not even going to cover your breakfast for the morning, most likely. So why would you close it down after one person? It was just another thing to add to the list of, like, this is who the hell wrote this? Who did this? Like,
Perry said that the first one was good, the second one was weird, and he never saw 3 or any of the other ones.
The third one's stupid, but at least consistent. It's at least it tries to expand more on the lore. It's not great, but they at least try to expand on the lore. Yeah. This one did nothing.
The Joe Dirt of horror movies, that's what Axel said.
Yes, Axel, I think you might be right.
Okay, so you didn't like the new Jeepers Creepers. So what if you had to rank your top monster or slasher film, what would you pick?
Okay, that one's, see, my top would probably have to be, and this is a guilty pleasure of mine, Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th. And here's my reasoning. The first and second movie are slasher movies. They are straight, pure slasher movies, no doubt, 100%. 3, 2, I think we're on like 20 now. He is a monster, my friends.
Yeah.
He is a zombie that has come back. He is a space robot thing in one of them. Like, I mean, he is no longer a human being in those movies. So I'd have to say Jason Voorhees would probably be my favorite creature.
Okay. He's my second favorite. All those movies. I love them. And I agree. Yeah, they start off as just pure slasher and they kind of evolve over
Yeah.
time. So yesterday we watched yeah, it was yesterday. We watched a whole bunch of horror movies. So then we were all getting tired, we were gonna go. But before we left, we had to make sure to watch just the fight scene between Freddy and Jason.
Nice.
So we
That's
didn't
super
watch the whole
cute.
movie. We watched the fight scene.
I've done that. I'm not even gonna. I've
Yep.
done that because it's a really good fight scene. I wish there were more in that movie. I think that's where that movie lost it. Honestly, they should have had more of Jason and Freddy. I don't think there was enough of those two in the movie.
Hmm.
The movie's not the worst movie in either series or franchise by far. There are, I mean, Jason X is pretty bad. Doesn't have much in the way of redeeming qualities, honestly, like a few kills, but otherwise it's really bad.
Yeah.
So the characters are terrible and the writing's terrible.
That's gonna say what I hate about that movie is I understand that we always watch movies that have teenagers and it's obvious they're not teenagers. This was just so ridiculous. The things they were doing as teenagers, I was like, this is just too unbelievable. Like, you're not just stretching it a little bit. Like, this is really just insane on how these kids were acting.
What
Like,
really did it for me when I was like, this is so unbelievable, believe it or not, is when Kelly Rowland's character is at the school
mhm.
clinic waiting for her friend because the what's her face passes out in class or whatever. So they're in the clinic. She's in the school clinic flipping through a magazine and she asked the school nurse about nose jobs. I was like, what the hell? Who that what school are you guys going to that your high school
Yeah.
nurse the what kind of school nurse do you guys have?
See, I forget the details of it, but was when for me it was one of the kids when he was sitting on the porch, and I forget if his dad came out with him or if he like told his dad he needed some space because he's like, "Oh, I'm having a bad day." But it's
Yeah.
like when all these people are getting murdered, and you just need to chill outside for a minute. Like you're not like, "Oh my god, dad! Like you won't believe this. Like people are dying all around me." No, you're just like, "I need some space." Like,
What made
please.
me laugh about that scene is because his dad actually comes out there to yell at him
Yeah.
about something. And he stops his dad in his tracks by saying that. And I'm like, and then his dad turns around and leaves. And I'm like, there ain't no way. There is, and you're drinking a beer on the, there is
Yeah.
no way in hell. No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Dude, no, I would like that. No. Mm, no, homie. We're having a hand to fanny chat. I don't care how old you think you are. I'm about to open a can of whole whoop ass on you, child. Because,
Yeah.
oh, no. That is so many. No.
So I still love the movie, but like I said, the kids themselves, I was like, this is way too far fetched. I can't do it. So Perry said Monica Keena was too much plastic. I'm assuming she was the main character lady.
Yeah.
So so yesterday when he turned it on, I go, oh look, here's the two stars of the movie. Because I understand that you need to have the attractive female lead, right? Like I'm not mad at it. But can she tell us where she bought that bra? Because how did her boobs stay so firm and perky the
Mm,
entire movie, and nothing ever like I don't know.
boob job. If you have the implants placed
I mean, they
in
didn't
front of the
move.
muscle, if it's placed in front of the muscle, I believe. No, actually, I no reverse that. If it's placed behind the muscle, you can adjust your boobs and they will stay
Yeah,
where
like
you put them.
they were.
It's like a magic trick.
It's like not natural that they were
No.
that incredibly high
Mm.
and out there. But
Yeah,
they did
it
not
looked like she
move.
was
They did
wearing
not jiggle. They
corset.
did nothing. Like it was just weird. Like she didn't get cold. The nips weren't coming out. Like I was just like this. It was just like I said, I understand completely why we had her. I get it. I get why she had the push-up bra. I get why she had the white shirt. Like I'm on board with that. That's fine. But it was just, yeah, the two main
She
stars of the movie.
she wasn't a good pick for that particular role,
Yeah,
in my opinion. She was well, none of them were good picks really. They were all too old. The characters were
yeah.
too mature at times, but then too stupid at other times.
Hmm.
Like that stoner kid, I was like, really? I knew the stoner kids when I was in high school, and I don't think anybody was that dumb. Like none of them would have stood there and let somebody rip them in half, essentially. Like, really? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think
I don't know.
I don't think they know what they're doing half the time.
But
Yeah,
I like the whole franchise as a whole though, and I don't know. Even though things are unbelievable, I still enjoy the movies. I'll still watch them again. I feel like there's certain movies that unbelievable things happen and you can overlook it. You can be like, this is stupid, but I'm going to keep going. But then you have other movies like the Jeepers Creepers you just talked about that something is kind of stupid and
there's
it just
nothing
kills the whole
redeeming.
movie.
Yeah,
But
there's nothing
there's
redeeming.
other ones where you could just laugh about it but still enjoy the movie, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so the chat knows they know like all the lore behind all of this. Okay. So um Batman said supposedly in Jason Goes to Hell, the mother brought back Jason. What's the Necronomicon? I can't even say it. Necronomicon. I always say it wrong. From the Evil Dead franchise. But then Perry said Ash was supposed to be in Freddy vs. Jason 2, but Sam Raimi didn't trust New Line while he was filming Spider-Man 3. Bruce Campbell even said he would make sure they won't make Ash look stupid, but Sam Raimi wouldn't allow it anyway.
I've heard that one, but I've also heard they were going to
Yeah.
do a Jason versus Freddy versus Pinhead, which is why he gets the head dragged down to hell or something at the end. I
I've
don't.
never seen any of the Pinhead movies.
They're not great, but I'll tell you what, if you're going to watch it just for Pinhead. And there's like maybe 10 minutes of him in the whole movie, usually. Like
Yeah.
his lines, his scenes are so good. That guy is like, he's got an amazing, commanding performance in that movie. In the first few, I should say. I think later on it gets really bad. But um, yeah, he's a good character on his own. The movies aren't great after a while. The first one's not bad. The next few are
Mhm.
pretty terrible, pretty bad.
But see, does Ash live in the same universe as Freddy and Jason? Like, I don't know. Like, okay, you could put Freddy and Jason in the same universe. Okay, I'll buy it, even though I don't think they do quite line up.
Hmm.
But is Ash really in the same universe that they're in? I mean, I guess why not? If they're all really, I guess, just time frames. But
Hmm. I always figured it was pretty much everybody has kind of chilling all in the same universe. Um, 'Cause why not? I mean, why be picky about it? Why not
yeah,
let them all? I mean, if we're going to terrorize one particular city, why not make it a few? Sprinkle it
hmm,
around the sprinkle it around the country while we're at it. I mean, hey, there's also Ireland with I think that movie was Shrooms or something. There's yes, everybody has their own territories to terrorize people. They
yeah,
should all be in the same universe. But I think Evil Dead has gone on record stating, I think Sam Raimi's stated like a couple of different times, like a couple of different franchises would be considered in the same universe. I don't know how it works out other than the book, the Necronomicon shows up in random movies in the background at times.
yeah.
Um, there's a few I know where they use like the spells and things. But how many of them there are, I couldn't even begin to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched a movie last week, I think it was, and I'm halfway through the movie and they kept using this spell for something or another. It was like wizards and stuff. It was a weird movie. this is interesting. It was a good movie, but it was very weird. And they kept saying this spell throughout the movie, and I'm like, I know that spell. And then halfway through the movie, it dawned on me, I'm like, that's the spell from Child's Play. It's the Chucky says the spell all the time. I'm like, that's where I know it from. It's half of the spell from friggin' Child's Play. That's okay. So I guess we're in a shared universe. And then, like later on in the movie, before the end, he opens the friggin' Necronomicon. I'm like, oh, okay. So now we're in the Evil Dead universe.
Yeah.
Okay, great. They always throw these things together. Who knows? I'd say they're all in the same universe personally. Why not?
That's a good point. Why not? Because then you can have crossovers if you want. Okay, I'm down.
I know what cities I'm not moving to. I don't see the problem. I think it's great. It'd be a lot of, and besides those places in the movies, if you think about it, crime rates seem seriously low. Because oftentimes people leave their doors unlocked and stuff like all night while they're sleeping or while they're gone and things. I will absolutely trade off for that. Maybe. Yeah, why not? I can outrun like a 6'7", 400-pound pile of muscle in the woods. I don't trip over nothing.
He doesn't even run. He just walks really fast.
That's true. That is true. You're right there. I don't even have to. And depending on what movie we're going with from him, I don't even really have to try that hard to get away from him. Mm-hmm. So I can just be like, Jason, it's Mother. It is Mother, Jason. I know you're going to be a good boy. We'll pull it off.
You just need to make it so that way your head's like on a platter, like right you're on the table there.
Oh, it's funny.
Okay, so your number one was my number two, which I got them on my shirt tonight.
Nice.
So who's your number two then? So I'm Freddy and Jason are my 1 and 2.
Okay. All right. My number 2 is probably, I'm going to have to go with The Thing.
Okay.
The Thing from The Thing, the original Thing. Well, actually, you can pick any movie, The Thing. I don't think there's really any... There is a bad The Thing movie. But I can't say there isn't. But for the most part, these movies are awesome. The Thing is horrifyingly terrifying. I mean, something that shapes and transforms and devours you and everything else. And there's actually, like, as far as you can tell, there's no real weakness for those.
So I've never seen any of the Thing movies. Does he come out of the swamp?
No, the Antarctica. Okay. They find him frozen, and they stupidly dethaw a thing in a block of ice because nothing can go wrong messing with ancient things. Man, that's one thing that I always found stupid in those movies because I'm like, even if they weren't expecting it to be alive, which obviously you're not going to expect something to survive like that. You would think a bunch of scientists would be concerned about air pathogens and things like that
Okay, so you would, because we actually just watched this little stupid news clip earlier about they opened a time capsule from 100 years ago. So
yes, they need to put it back.
Well, no, they opened this time capsule, but they had to have like the bomb squad or somebody open it because there was a film reel inside of it, and apparently something that's on old film reels can, when it corrodes, when oxygen hits it can start a fire. So they like had this whole big thing with the people in the suits and it's outside and they had like a stick to open it basically. If you're going that far over a box that has a film reel in it, like I could see the scientists would totally thaw it out, but yeah, you think they'd be like in a room with no ventilation, so this way if something happens it's contained. Like I could totally see they're going to open it because they're scientists, they want to find out what it is, but yeah, they're not just going to sit in a random room and let it just get sucked into the HVAC system. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, logic states if something's frozen or buried in soil or something, chances are it was dead. It's starting to decay
yeah.
when it was preserved in whatever state it's in. So just off of that alone, I'd be concerned of what if it has mold or an old virus or parasite or what.
That's what I was going to say. If it has a disease that we've eradicated, and now this is like the disease comes back now.
They had an issue a few years back. Somebody ended up getting like the Black Plague or something crazy like
Yeah.
that because they were exposed to something that they had open that had the virus or something. It was something stupid like that, and it was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Sometimes I feel like scientists don't watch horror movies, and maybe they should.
I
Maybe they
think
need to. That needs to be part of their job training.
apparently, I read the other day actually that they found a what is it, a tomb underneath a set for Indiana Jones.
Yes, I
I
saw
was like,
that.
you know
Hmm.
what? You can go ahead and bury that again. Put the dirt back over it. Pretend that you never saw it, and just continue your business and move it along. We've got enough
Yeah.
problems already. We've had enough problems this year. Stop it. No. Put the dirt back on it and walk away.
Yeah. Yeah. Please don't
Don't touch
open that up to the rest of the world. Please.
don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. Stop touching stuff. It's one of stop. Listen, we're not allowed to go to cemeteries. Like I have an old antique closed down cemetery. We are not allowed to walk in there and just start digging up bodies and hanging out with them.
When
Why
you
are
say
you guys allowed to do it?
closed down cemetery, like is it full? Like why is the cemetery closed down?
Well, yeah, it's full, and it was a private cemetery, and the
Okay.
family has since gone the way of history. There aren't any family members left, so
Okay. I keep forgetting to look it up because on my way home from work, to avoid like where all the traffic is, I take it's not even a back road. This used to be like the main road until they built the current main road. So it's just a little one lane in each direction and it's going down a hill.
mm,
So it's like through the woods, down a hill, and it's like twisty. So I noticed one day driving home and I was like, there's headstones in there. And I'm like, this is weird. So then like every day after that I would go slow. I'd make sure I go really slow down the hill so I could take a look at this. And then I noticed that somebody's upkeeping it because periodically you'll see that like brush is cut to get you back in there, but
mm,
it's not like a full cemetery. I
mm,
don't know how many headstones are back there, but I think there's only like a handful. So like, this is
mm.
something very small, and I keep forgetting, and I have to look it up because now I'm like, what the hell is this? Is this like a cemetery? Is this like, yeah, it was somebody in their backyard and they just buried their family? Like I don't know. It's just so weird that it's just randomly
It
there on the side of the road.
it could very well be a private cemetery.
Yeah.
You are it depending on the state you live in. You can bury somebody on your property if you have enough land.
Hmm.
Um, about the only stipulations across the board for the whole country is you have to be able to bury them over at least 6 feet deep. Otherwise, I believe the laws change from like state to state. Um, I know some states make you jump through, like you have to. Yeah, there's different things you got to jump through.
So for a serial killer, I mean,
Mhm.
the killing part is the illegal part, but like you could have them legally buried in your backyard as long as
Mhm.
you bury them deep enough,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So it's only one crime, not two.
Yeah. In some states, if you want to have a corpse at the house to host the wake at your home, you can do that. It's actually allowed in quite a few states. A lot of times they just make you do. You got to switch the blood out for the preservation stuff. I can't think of what it's called right now, but yeah.
Embalming fluid.
There you go. Yeah, they got to be embalmed. But you can do at home wakes, so you don't have to do it at the funeral home.
Who is doing this?
It was actually a big thing for real. For the silent generation, they did that a lot. You stand the body up, push them in the corner, put a glass in their hand, and have a party.
Okay, so wait, we're not even talking like you have the casket in your living room. We're talking about like you have a dead body standing in the corner that you put props in their hands.
Well, part of the reason you would have the wake at home is because you can't afford to have it at the funeral home, and you can't really afford to have them in a casket. Those are usually the same families. You can bury someone in a cardboard box or a sheet. That's absolutely a thing.
Okay.
So in some religions, they actually prefer to be buried in linen. They have to be wrapped in linen. I'm not sure which one that one is, but I do know that's a thing that people still practice today. I don't know if it's necessarily for religious reasons anymore.
I don't even need to look up the laws because I do not want a dead embalmed body in my house. Don't need it. Not gonna happen. I don't know if I wanted it. I'd rather get a cardboard cutout made, right? Like now in 2024, you could buy a cardboard cutout of anybody. Like I would rather have a cardboard cutout in my living room if that's really the route I was going to take. I don't know. I'm not.
I don't care what they do with me as long as there's an open bar and a lot of food. That's all I want. Like I expect there to be good music, alcohol, and good food. And I expect everyone to be eating, drinking, laughing, and having a great time. There's a lot of funerals are just so. I mean, obviously funerals are depressing, but they're just so. Over the years, funerals have gotten really boring. Nobody holds Irish funerals anymore, and it's like, what happened to the fun funerals? I know it sounds ironic.
Gonna put the fun back at funeral.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like nobody has like an old Irish funeral and wakes anymore. When I was a kid and stuff, I mean, for years, when someone would die, half of the people that showed up to show their, their respects were lit. They were, prim and proper, and everybody was dressed to the nines, but they had already started drinking and, just waiting to go eat, and then everybody go back and eat and drink and have a good time and tell stories. And it was depressing to an extent, but you had a nice time remembering everyone. So you left feeling kind of almost in a way like you were grateful that you went because you got to share this moment, Nowadays, it seems like you show up to a funeral, everybody's crying, nobody want to eat anything. If God forbid you show up drunk, the worst person ever. And, and everyone's just like so depressing and crying and snotting everywhere. And nobody wants to talk about really. I mean, God bless my mother-in-law. When she passed, I went out to eat with the priest afterwards. You know what I got? I got a dick shake steak in front of a priest.
Can you say that? Can you say that again, please?
I got a steak that was shaped like a penis.
Did you have to specially request this, or this is just what they gave you? Like, is this a
that's
thing,
what they brought out. And
okay. So you didn't you didn't order. I would like the dick steak, please. Like, okay.
No. I ordered a regular 7-ounce steak. I just ordered a 7-ounce steak and mashed potatoes, thinking okay, and
they were like, "This one is for this lady."
They were like, "Well, it seems like somebody's a little depressed. Let's go ahead and liven the mood." And yeah, I mean, I tried to make it nonchalant, and of course, Dreadpool wasn't very helpful. And then, of course, I thought I was being a little quiet and didn't realize how closely he was already paying attention to me. And then I decided to start dropping F-bombs and S-bombs, and I looked over and noticed he was looking at me, and I went, "I am so sorry."
Oh.
Don't worry, Padre.
But
Not only am I going to hell, I'm supervising everybody, so it's
but
fine.
but see what a great story to have though. That what happened? Oh, I paid my respects and then I got the dick steak in front of the priest.
Oh, I absolutely blame my mother-in-law for it. Actually, it was her absolutely
Yeah.
reaching her cold hand down, going one last time, Death, one last. She was a jokester and a prankster. She
Mm.
would have, if she'd been there, she would have laughed her ass off. She probably would have pointed it out before anybody else.
Yeah.
Guaranteed, guaranteed. This is the same woman that when my husband and I got engaged, she asked me if we were practicing for children. I was like, I told Dreadful, I was like, I don't know what kind of family you had. In my family, we
Yeah.
don't discuss things like that. So I'm going to need you to tell your mom to stop.
Yeah, I know because you don't know what kind of answer to give. That's like it's like walking through the what are they the landmine field
Yeah,
like
that is exactly what it is. It's walking through a field with landmines in it. Yes, yes, Dreadful. Is your
yeah
mom's
bombs
last
on the
joke? It was, yeah, it was because it seemed like that whole day I was the comic relief for people. It was like she purposely went. You know what? You're going to be the butt of the jokes one last time for me. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Mom. Mark person. Yeah, she gotta love it though. Gotta love it. Like I said,
yeah
people have boring funerals. I want a lively funeral. I'm getting everybody steaks, and they are all gonna be cock shaped.
yeah. Oh, I love it. See, I hope I can come back and like mess with people. That just is one more idea to mess with people. I love it. So Perry said how they used to put silver dollars on people's eyes. Wasn't that so? When and I forget who's the guy when you get to the River Styx, the guy who you get on the boat and he brings you in.
Yeah,
Did
it's to
you?
pay your toll to get across.
Yeah, that's why they had to put the silver dollars so you could pay your toll.
Yeah,
And he's the guy
yeah.
with the three-headed dog, right?
No, that's Hades. Hades has that
Oh,
at the entrance to the underworld.
okay.
Yeah. I
But I
guess
only have two
it's the
hands,
same
so
place.
how can I pet all three doggy heads if I only have two hands?
Listen, I think once your dead rules start bending, I think you can grow a third, fourth hand if you need to.
Okay, so do you really mean that, Dread said I'd catch my mom sitting in the booth out of the corner of my eye?
Oh no, the day of her wake, yeah, it was after I had my amazing steak next to the priest, dropping F bombs, good times. Thank God he's a cool guy. If he'd been a boomer, I would have been so screwed. He's a millennial, so it was like, oh, thank God. Woo-hoo. Man, I don't even need to know. You're probably fine. You were probably a horrible teenager. It's fine. Um, uh, no, when we were out to eat at the restaurant, um, he saw something out of the corner of his eye and said something. And when I looked over, there was a woman who we all swore looked just like his mother sitting in the booth. So yeah, when
You just
he
had to see how the steak went over. She had to catch the
yeah,
joke.
yeah. It's like I'm keeping an eye on everything
Yeah.
here. Yeah, good times. Now he's back to the dog. That's the name of the dog.
Oh,
Oh
the
no,
dog
the
is
guy
there,
that
but
brings you over. I'm sorry. No, you're right. That's the guy. The name Siberius is the one who brings you over the river.
he's that's who you need to pay. That's who you need the money for.
Yeah, it's the same reason They used to put pennies on people's eyes. They'll do in some cases.
Mhm.
Um, it's just to help you get to the other side. I mean, I personally am not allowed to take payments. It's considered a bribe and it's frowned upon. But you might be able to bribe somebody along the way if you want to take it with you. But I mean, it is true what they say. You can't take the money with you when you get home. Just a little secret I happen to know for a fact. But okay, so back to movies.
Okay, so my third favorite franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm thinking this counts as a slasher
Mm-hmm.
franchise. If not, well, I'm considering that is the Scream franchise.
Nice.
So I love the Scream movies. My only complaint, though, since I'm not good at remembering movies, I don't like. I mean, I like that they're connected because I kind of like movies where like you have a series and you kind of keep building upon things. But I
Yeah.
also hate having to build upon things because then I don't remember and I don't know what's going on, and then I get confused because I forget what happened 3 movies ago. Um, so normally when that happens, I just have to have Perry give me the cliff notes, or I just annoy him and we're watching a movie and I have to ask questions and say, wait, what's happening? And then he acts like, well, duh, didn't you see this? And, oh, yeah, I did. I forgot. But I love the Scream movies. I don't know. I like it. I like trying to figure things out. And I like kind of the twists and the turns and just nostalgia from the 90s, you know?
I agree. I like the Scream movies. I more or less like the first three. Those are as far as I'm concerned, those are the franchise right there. The first three, the original three.
Mm-hmm.
While obviously the first one's the best one, and they started going downhill slowly after that. I think the last two Scream movies are so completely and utterly terrible and forgettable. I have literally forgotten that I've watched them like three different times, and I sit down to watch it thinking, oh, I don't think I've watched this one yet. This is the new one. I don't think I've watched it yet. Only to like discover and remember like halfway
So
through
then
going,
just get mad all over
oh
again.
shit, I did watch this pile of crap. Exactly. Yeah, it's, and I'm just gonna say it because I don't think enough people have complained about it. The last one is a fucking remake, the exact same story all over again from two. Can we not? How about let's stop? Let go, dog.
You know, I think that there's a lot of movie franchises, not even just horror, but just in general, a lot of movie franchises that struggle with how to how to keep a franchise going.
Mm,
And we don't want a million remakes.
mm,
We don't want reboots. We don't want you to act like the other movies didn't happen. They need to find a way to integrate new characters with the old characters to kind of like have a transfer so then you can carry on with all the new people and phase the old people out. Very few people have a good way of doing that. And I think that's what they were trying to do, was just kind of call back to the old movies so there is that connection.
No, I agree. I think Hollywood needs to stop it. Just stop it. If you don't
Well,
have a legitimate, if you don't have anything to add to it, if you don't have any lore to get to it, stop it.
well, I don't know if they have any new ideas anymore.
I wish they did. It's
And I
clear
would
now.
think that there's a way that you could take an existing franchise, an existing movie, take the concept of it, but make it into something new. So it's not even like you need to 100% have a new idea. You just need to take something, but don't give me a reboot or don't give me a remake. But make it its own, like I said, just kind of reimagine it. Come up with something new with the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So Perry said Scream 7 is supposed to be about Sydney's kids. Kevin Williamson is directing, the creator of Scream, so it's going to be completely new. 5 and 6 are pointless. Okay, so if 7 then really does go back to kind of carrying on the
I
movies,
agree.
and hopefully, and if he's the creator of Scream, then hopefully, he obviously knows the lore and the kind of the intention behind the movies. So
Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit of hope, but only so much because we've all heard in the last few years of, oh, the original creator, director, producers are all back for this, new installment for the franchise. I mean, not all of them were bad, but you know what? I'm gonna say it because I don't think enough people say this one either. The Evil Dead remake is not a remake, or I personally don't consider it to have anything to really do to the original Evil Dead movies. Like I'm sorry, those movies are completely different than what we have now. They're much darker, much scarier, much more twisted. Whereas the original Raimi movies were kind of lighthearted. I mean, they were supposed to be horror, but they were more
they were
kind of
campy
goofy,
horror movies.
They
Yeah.
were like corny horror movies. Like it was. There were moments that were obviously played for seriousness, but for crying out loud, he cut his fucking hand off and put a chainsaw on it. Seriously, like. And he did it as like there was a joke about it. Like,
I'm kind of ambivalent towards all the Evil Dead movies. I really like the TV show, though. That I really enjoyed.
The TV show was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like the TV show, but the TV show fit more with the original franchise. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The new ones were just kind of like, I was like, this is not a remake. This is like a complete redo as far as I'm concerned. Don't get me wrong. It can take place in the same universe. I just think they should have given it a different name, or maybe Evil Dead Reborn. That would have been great,
Yeah.
It's just, I've seen quite a few. Leprechaun did it too. The Leprechaun remake.
I didn't even know they remade that movie.
It's bad. It's bad. It's just there's no leprechaun in it. They took in the entire series is supposed to be a leprechaun running around killing people while telling one-liner jokes. That's his whole thing. He's basically a much smaller Freddy Krueger. And instead of waiting for your dreams, he just runs around. But in the remake, not only does he not tell jokes, you don't even see him.
I know, how can you have a Leprechaun movie without a leprechaun?
Because it's in Ireland, and there's a giant stone in the middle of a field. Ta-da! As an Irish person, I found that insulting. Just like that. I find that insulting. Just because there's a field with a giant rock in it, we have to have leprechauns.
Yeah.
Just saying. Could have done better. I would rather the old Leprechaun.
We need Jennifer Aniston to come back.
He was a better representation of Irish people. He was violent. He was drunk. I don't see a problem. At an aversion to sunlight, attitude,
true,
told jokes, smart ass. Like, he's the perfect representation.
Yeah.
You just took him away from us. Way to go. Way to go. What's next? Are you going to take a Leprechaun from Lucky Charms?
He has a name. I think his name is Lucky, which is very low effort. His name's Lucky. He's just like stereotypical leprechaun, though. Yeah.
It's insulting to Irish people.
Yeah.
I find it insulting. I want it removed. It's offensive. It's offensive to Irish people. He's not a drunk.
Lucky Charms are delicious, though. They're magically delicious.
It's funny.
Okay, so what's your next favorite movie or
Um,
franchise or whatever.
okay. I'm going with my next favorite monster is from the Universal Monsters. I prefer Dracula.
Okay. That's
I'd
a good
say,
pick.
depending on the representation of him, because there are so many different movies with Dracula in them, some of which the newer ones are not very good. We will discuss those. But for the most part, the idea of him in general, the dark character, I prefer Bela Lugosi's
Yeah.
representation the most, honestly, because it's the most like, I don't know, he's not really terrifying so much as he's just creepy as all hell. Like, that's what I want him to be, creepy. I mean, if you want to find him attractive, that's your deal. It says something about you and your daddy issues, but who am I to judge? I got him too.
So is there a favorite movie that he's in that you like, or you just like there's certain ones that you like, and then you have all those ones that just suck?
um, for the most part, there's quite a few movies that I like with that character in it. But I would have to say it's probably, I think my favorite representations of him are Bram Stoker's Dracula, the movie with Keanu Reeves and
Okay.
Winona Ryder in all of them. That's a really good I like the portrayal of Dracula in that one. And then Monster Squad. I think that movie's hilarious. I love that movie. And I think the character is entertaining. He's so mean and just so like, I'm just here to do what I gotta do. Leave me alone. It's
Yeah.
very, I can picture that being his deal. If he's looking for something, he doesn't have time to mess around and be all this romantic and la da da. He's here for a mission. Get out of his way. I'm
Yeah.
all for it. And then, of course, Bela Lugosi's representation, because you couldn't have a modern representation without Bela Lugosi's monster work in general. The man set the stage and paved the way for how you could represent them the best on film. So it's just a shame he took all his makeup techniques with him, selfish bastard. And
What do you
nobody's perfect.
What do you mean he took all of his makeup techniques with him?
He did his own makeup for all of the
Hmm.
monster movies he did. He did all of his own makeup, and he wouldn't share or tell anybody how he did it. Even his own son, who actually became a character actor as well and wanted to play, he did play, I believe he played some of his dad's old roles, actually. And Bela Lugosi never even told his own son how he did some of the makeup tricks that he did. So they literally died with him.
That's weird. I wonder why he'd never told. And I can get when he was in his heyday that like you don't want to tell because then everyone else is going to use it and that's your advantage. But you would think you would reach a certain point that you would share it, especially to your own kid.
Yeah, I honestly kind of always have wondered about that. I'm like, I kind of wonder what he did that was so different than what that nobody could really figure out what he was doing.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure if someone really was able to get their hands on some colored film of him with the makeup on and stuff, I'm sure they might be able to duplicate it
Yeah.
to an extent. Um, I kind of always have wondered though too at the same time, like maybe the reason he didn't tell his son was because he was using like lead based makeup at a point in time for some of those characters and he didn't want to say that. Although I can't imagine why it would matter because lead based makeup was quite common for certain things.
But
So
and
using it
even if
shows
it's
it would be
something that his
painful.
son couldn't use the same stuff, if he showed him the techniques, then maybe his son could have found out like new materials to use with the same techniques to get the result.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm. Perry wants more classic Dracula with his cape, but you could modernize it. No more sexy rock and roll Dracula with 12-pack of abs, please. He's supposed to be scary, not sexy.
Yeah. I'm kind of. over a lot of the representation of vampires in general. It's just not very scary anymore. They've turned vampires into entirely too sexual beings. Um, I've actually had this conversation not too long ago because one of the haunted houses we went to, they did a section of it was a play on words for the red light district, and it was like blood light district or something like that, and they were vampires in the red light district. So we had vampire hookers, and they were dressed in BDSM gear. Like, I'm talking, there was a guy walking around. He was, I would guess he's probably 20 something. He was wearing like what looked like a leather diaper or booty shorts of some kind with like these little straps, and he had nipple clamps on.
Yeah, that's not. I don't need a Dracula with nipple clamps. Really not. Not a sentence that I needed to really say, but I don't need that.
I didn't think I would ever utter the words vampire prostitutes, but here we are. I mean, in nipple clamps. Don't make fun. The Lost Boys aren't. We're not talking about the Lost. I would take the Lost Boys over that. It was awkward. It was very uncomfortable too.
Do the Lost Boys have nipple clamps, or are they prostitutes?
Making a joke. Oh, to make it even worse, though, when we were walking through the area, this one character, she like stepped right in front of me and was like trying to be like scary with her little fan, and she like popped it open and started fanning herself.
How was it supposed to be
looked
scary?
At her, just kind of did one of these, and like stepped around. Listen, I wasn't trying to be mean and give her that dirty look. You know the look. I wasn't trying to give her the look. I really wasn't. So if you're watching, I apologize if I made you feel bad. It was a natural reaction because here's this woman basically wearing a bra and underwear in, random whips and stuff, and she steps right in front of me and stops me, and I'm just like, really? It's not scary. It's not even sexy. It's just weird, bro. It was unnecessary. Stop making vampires sexy. It's highly unnecessary. It's just weird at this point. Do you have a necrophilia fetish that you insist on sharing with the world? No one needs to know you want to screw dead bodies. Nobody.
Tread said, at least you know those vampires suck.
She's scary with her STDs. She is. She's horrifying. Like I said, it was very awkward to me. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to be doing. And
because it's not scary, but it's also kind of weird to be sexy when you're trying to scare people like that. I mean,
not to mention, I'm in a theme park looking to do haunted trails.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be walking onto a Victoria's Secret fashion show stage. Like, what is this? Don't get me wrong, they were pretty. Some of them were gorgeous. They were all good looking and beautiful in shape and what. It was just weird, though. It was like,
not every costume needs to have a sexy version of it. Wear a sexy costume or wear a horror costume. You don't necessarily have to have a crossover.
Yes. Yeah. Like it was weird. It was like all I kept thinking about was like, if I'm supposed to be scared of you, do realize like you've got nothing padding your chest at all. There's nothing between me and your chest. Taste a few cracked ribs, and I mean, I don't have to stab your heart. I can actually rip it out of your chest. I put enough effort into it. I mean, let's be real. I don't find it scary. It was weird. It was just very weird. I'm finding it to be more of a, are they necrophilia? Just saying.
So I obviously know who Dracula is. I don't know if I've seen a vampire movie, a Dracula movie. I really don't know if I have. But I know who he is, and I know, I know Bela Lugosi. I know his character. I've seen clips of it and everything. And it is. I do like that he kind of like set the stage for how Dracula should be.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll even take Vampire in Brooklyn, Eddie Murphy's Dracula. Yeah, I'll take it. Is it Eddie Murphy? Right? Is that who it is? No.
I don't know.
I think it is. Anyway, doesn't matter. Point is, I want some terrifying vampires back. I'll even take Dracula 2000. Movie's not the greatest, but Dracula was kind of scary in it. Just saying.
We watched, I don't know if it was a preview or a clip, we watched something about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. And we watched like the little clip, and like he did whatever he did, and they're like, oh, he's on his way to the theater now. And then, yeah.
Oh yeah, I actually watched it the other day because I haven't watched it in a little while. I haven't watched it since it came out, and I watched that movie on accident. When I originally saw it, I watched on accident. Lincoln versus Vampires came out around the same time this other movie called Lincoln versus Zombies came out. I like zombies.
Who knew it was fighting so many otherworld beings?
what you know what didn't dawn on me until I rewatched Lincoln versus Vampires the other day? I was like, why in the hell was there like a span of 2 years that we insisted on putting Lincoln in like horror movies? There are literally, from the couple of years that those movies were made, there are a ton of movies that reference him or show him in some form or fashion. I mean, it's like, why? What is this weird obsession recently? Like, what is this new fad? What possessed us to put founding fathers in random horror movies? We even have Lincoln or Washington.
Because when I think to myself, who do I want to see hunt vampires? None of the presidents make my list of people. None of them. And apparently 10 years ago, I saw the entire movie of Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I don't remember it, but apparently I did.
Oh, you have to watch Abe Lincoln versus Zombies. It's just as amazing. This is good. Just as amazing. Yeah, no, that's how I ended up watching it. So I was trying to watch Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies, and I came across Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and I was like, "Oh, this must be the movie." And yeah, after I watched it, I went to go do something else, and I was like, "No, I'm like, there's 2 of these out." So I thought maybe the person who made the next one as kind of like a franchise type thing. So I was like, "Oh, okay, we'll watch the next one," thinking, okay. No, they really have like nothing to really do with it.
It is because you would think there'd be like one dude who's just obsessed with Abraham Lincoln and obsessed with horror movies, and he's combining them together. But how are there multiple people obsessed with Abraham Lincoln and horror movies?
That sounds like an amazing franchise idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to pick an old historical person and just put him in all kinds of random.
Well, you do. You've got Abraham Lincoln, and he's got the leprechauns with him. He's got werewolves. He's got Dracula.
I'll set it up as an anthology.
Yeah.
I'll set it up so like each movie is like its own little movie. So if you didn't see the other movies, it doesn't matter. You don't need to. You can just jump in at any time for whatever monster your heart desires. That is an amazing idea. I am on it.
You're gonna pick though. Who's a president that no one knows existed? Like Chester Alan Arthur was a president that no one knows he existed because he didn't get elected. Somebody died and he got in. Right? You need a president that like nobody knows about, so everyone's like doubly confused.
Theodore Roosevelt is too easy of a person to pick. Dreadpool. That's kind of like saying I'm going to pick Churchill. Like it's too easy. Like no, it can't be a Kennedy. I don't know. I'll pick
what's Spielberg?
Very obscure. Who's the second president of the United States? We don't talk about that guy.
I don't know. What the third was John Adams, right? Wasn't he the third? So who was the second?
Jefferson was like the 5th, right?
Yeah.
Man, okay, listen, if anyone thinks about making fun of me for this,
Okay.
I'll have you know I haven't had to think about this since I was in like 5th grade.
So Teddy Roosevelt, Dreadful put Teddy Roosevelt, Rough Riders mount up. So can we have a movie with Teddy Roosevelt, but DMX comes back from the dead to help him fight the zombies?
That would be funny as hell. I might. Maybe we can get a little Tupac in there for good measure.
So Sir X-Man earlier said that his favorite monsters were werewolves, and he said that werewolves are the only monsters that can kill vampires.
Yeah, for depending on the lore, yeah. With their bare hands, yeah. Yeah, it's usually what they say. I like werewolves too. I've seen some really good transformation scenes in some movies with werewolves. And interestingly enough, I think one of the better transitions that I've seen that has been filmed recently was on a TV show. Pretty sad that they've done better transformations on some TV shows than they do in the movies.
Wasn't Michael J. Fox a werewolf in London?
No, not in London. He was
he was a
wolf.
teen wolf. That's right. Okay.
Wolf.
Okay, I knew he was something.
That transformation's amazing. They still show American Werewolf in London's transformation at the makeup show in Universal Studios. That's still the first thing they talk about in their life.
Yeah.
Makeup of the movies, and it shows the transformation scene like on a loop. It's like, this is so cool, but it cracks me up all the time because all I can ever think about is like, I wonder what some of these little kids think that have never been exposed to some of this stuff. They come in to see this show and they're expecting minions and shit, and all of a sudden they're watching this horrifying transformation of this guy just ripping his skin off, and you know, and it's like, I wonder. This is a defining moment in children's lives for them to become the villains of their parents' lives.
Sir X-Men said the best werewolf transformation he's seen was in the series Being Human.
That was a good transformation too. Yeah. Not a bad transformation, actually. Yeah. I honestly can't think of the name of the show for the transformation offhand now.
Silver Bullet, is that with a werewolf?
Mm-hmm.
The Stephen King book, and then it was a movie with I always confuse the two people. Was it with Busey? I always confuse Gary Busey with somebody else, Nick Nolte. I confuse the two of them. Wasn't Gary Busey in the movie Silver Bullet? That little kid in the 70s bike. I can look this up now.
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't seen that one in a little while. I don't remember offhand.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna Google this.
You know what's funny? Every time I ever hear
it does have a Gary Busey. Okay.
Anytime I hear that movie, that name though, you know what I think about? I think about the movie or the story in the movie Riding the Bullet. It's another Stephen King story. Nothing to do with werewolves though. Nothing at all. The Wolfman and his brother were on Murray. I mean, do we need to know why they were on Murray? Which one was the father? How can they tell the difference if they're both hairy?
One's taller. I don't know. Bori Povich is like my guilty pleasure. I absolutely love watching paternity tests on Maury. It just does not ever get old for me. I think it's hysterical. I think it's hysterical because the people are always like, I'm 1,000% sure. And like the higher the percent sure they are, the less of a chance that person's actually the father. So I just think it's funny.
Oh yeah.
But then I love it too because they show they'll show like the little baby photo on the wall with the dad next to it. People come up with the most ridiculous reasons on why they're not related. They'll be like, see this baby? This baby's ears are 1 inch tall and my ears are 2 inch tall, therefore it can't be my kid. And it's like, well, because it's a baby and you're a full grown adult. Like they just come up with stupid things to say they're not related. It cracks me up. It cracks me up every time.
Oh no,
Because
it
my guilty
absolutely.
pleasure.
Oh, I know. I feel no guilt. I love it. I figure if you were going to put yourself out there for the whole world to see your assery, by all means, show your asshole. 'Cause,
Yeah.
my God, I can't imagine the thought process and mental gymnastics you have to go through in order to make some of these life choices and then decide to share them with the rest of the planet on television.
My
Like,
only
for real?
my only hope is they fly you to New York. So you get a 24-hour New York vacation. So you'll come say whatever on TV and be ridiculous for a free 24-hour New York vacation. That's my hope. Because I'm with you. Why would you come on TV? Especially some of these people, it's not like, I cheated on my boyfriend, so you have two different people or whatever. I mean, there's people that are like, oh yeah, I got 8 people and I only know 6 of them and I want to bring them all here. Like, why would you come say that on television?
I would
And
love to
and then
say that
even the dads, they'll be like, well, we only, we were only together once, and I've got 4 other girlfriends, and they're not having kids, so I can't. Like, yeah, why would you want to spill all that for the rest of us to know?
as much as I'd like to say, I'm sure some of them are over, or I should say were. As I don't think they're making any new shows. I believe that a lot of them probably were over exaggerated and overacted. However, I've known some people to be on some of these shows. They're not always exaggerating. Some of these people really are that messed up and stupid. I had some friends that I can't even really call them friends anymore. I had some friends that in high school, when I was in high school, and when I moved, I stopped talking to them just because we lost touch. Didn't hear anything for a while. Well, I'm watching TV one day, and I also like to watch that TV show Cheaters.
Yep.
I saw my old high school friends on Cheaters, and it made me stop in my tracks because I was like, wait a minute, what? No. Like, maybe this is going to be one of those random weird episodes where everybody's behaving. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a misunderstanding type thing. Because I'm like, I remember them. Like she was like madly in love. So, like, I don't think so. It didn't end well. And not only did it not end well, it took a hard turn left and just drove right off a bridge into a ravine with sharp rocks in it. She was cheating on her fiance with her cousin, her first cousin. I was like, what in the unholy Alabama is
Yeah.
going on? So yeah, I wish I could say that it's made up, but it's not. And
I
then
would love it so much if I was watching some sort of, trash reality TV show and I saw somebody I knew. I would love it. That would make my day. That would make my year. I would love it so much.
my little brother had a classmate whose family went on Murray. They went on Murray. They were not a well functioning group of people. And again, like I like to say, like I wish sometimes they were exaggerating, and like I really hope to God some of those people were exaggerating because some of those things were not only were they highly immoral. You can't possibly have a soul if you're doing some of these things you say you're doing. No, these people do exist, though. There are horrible, disgusting, disturbing people out there. I wish they'd bring Murray back. I think that's part of the problem with society. We don't have Jerry Springer or Murray on the TV anymore. There's nowhere for these people to be dragged onto a national stage to be made fun of.
Yeah.
Think about it. Jerry Springer was the best setup. Yeah, you get your 5 minutes of fame, but at the end of the show, you're getting ripped on by the audience. I mean,
That
some
was
of those
that was
jokes
the
are
best
hilarious.
part when they would come out. And it was great too because if people had like a bad take, they would get booed. They'll boo the audience member. They don't care. But yeah, some of those people had the greatest little one-liners. It was hysterical.
Mm.
So Perry said it was the human wolf man who was on Maury. We'll have to look him up.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, guy. Um, wasn't he from Mexico? I want to say there was a guy from Mexico that had wolf syndrome. And his whole family, I think, had it too. It wasn't just him. Like he had a couple family members that actually had it, and they were famous in the '90s, I think, for it. I want to say they were from Mexico. For some reason, I'm thinking they were. Yeah, I want to say they were from Mexico. Let's say Mexico, but I do remember that show. Yeah, I want Ricky Lake back. I want any of them back. Take any of them. I just want good trash TV back. We need to make fun of people. Bullying needs to be brought back.
We watched the old episodes of Ricky Lake. Half the fun of watching it is to just look at all the people in the audience, to look at just the style of what people are wearing. You know, to look back at it now and just laugh at it. And some of these people's hairdos, I look at it, I'm like, this is what you look like. But then I thought, oh, you were hot shit. Like this was like, you looked nice because you knew you were coming on TV and you got all done up. And now I look at it and I'm like, this is so embarrassing.
Listen, anyone who was alive at a certain time period, you're gonna look at old pictures and just be like, oh man. Like I have pictures from my childhood, and I don't necessarily think to myself, like, what was I wearing? No, because I didn't actually dress myself until I was a certain age. My mom picked out and bought all of my clothes without any input from me. My mom was very much, no fucks given type. You're going to wear whatever I buy you, and that's all there is to it.
A lot of shoulder pads, a lot of wind track suits.
There are certain outfits for certain things, and you need to dress accordingly for the situation and the time in which we'll be doing. And you know what looks dress for the occasion specifically. If you do not dress for the occasion, you are not ready to go.
What amazes me is looking back, and I don't know if it's just because I'm looking back at her, if things are different. I just feel like some of these people, their styles just are old. Like you'll see somebody who's 20 and I think, wow, you're dressed like an old lady. Right? Like I feel like the style of what people wore was so much older than compared to what people wear now. And what somebody who's even 50 is wearing now is so much more younger than what people used to wear.
Oh yeah. Well, I've actually, this is something that I think any woman that works in any type of fashion-ish type field, because I do, and I've had to dress people in 80s clothes, 50s clothes, and things like that for certain shows and what have you, because they take place in a certain time period and it's not always modern time. And one of the first complaints we usually get is, this makes me look so, this is something my grandma would wear. And it's like, well, yeah.
That was the style, though.
You got to remember, how often do you change your personal style? Unless you are someone who is working with fashion and your actual brand relies on your fashion sense and being the most trendy and up-to-date person. Let's be honest and frank with it. Your style pretty much has not changed since high school. Whatever outfits you wore on a frequent basis when you were in high school is a majority of your wardrobe now. We don't really grow out of our comfort zone. We find something that's comforting and we enjoy it and we stick to it. I mean, that's why people our age can make the joke now of, oh, mom, being a goth wasn't just a phase. Oh, mom, being emo wasn't just a phase. Kind of. yes and no. But for the most part, it was a phase that you felt comfortable in, so we were continuing this. It is not just
Mm-hmm.
a phase, it is a lifestyle now.
My
But
lifestyle
everyone
is
has
being
that.
comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not fashionable. I am comfortable.
I mean, my style pretty much, honestly, aside from a few
Mm.
variations here and there, my style pretty much has stayed the same. I can probably go back even further. My style is the same since I was in elementary school. I wear dresses when I need to look nice and I need to look like, I'm a grown up and have my shit together. Make people believe I'm responsible. Um, I, for the most part, wear jeans or shorts and a t-shirt because I don't care enough to care what anybody else says or thinks. And I like sweatpants. Guess what I used to wear to high school every day?
Sweatpants.
Sweatpants and t-shirts. Yeah, my style hasn't really changed much. I mean, most people don't. But then again, most people's style are just pants and a t-shirt.
Okay, so I have a confession then. In January 2020, I decided I wanted to be comfortable and I wear sweatpants to work. And I don't know how I didn't get in trouble. I think because they're not like, banded bottom gym class sweatpants, they're just black pants. So unless you get close enough to see the
I have to.
material, yeah, they weren't like that. They were like they look like regular pants. So unless you get close enough to see the material, I mean, I think to me it is kind of obvious they're not dress pants, but I guess from a distance, how do you really know?
Mhm.
Well, I decided in January 2020, I'm going to wear sweatpants. No one has ever said anything to me. I've worn sweatpants every day since, and it's been absolutely amazing.
There are
It's been
some pants
absolutely
nowadays.
amazing.
Well, some sweatpants nowadays are almost like yoga pants, but not as tight. I mean, I have a couple of sweatpants like that where they don't really look like sweatpants. They just kind of look
Hmm.
like loose yoga pants or, cloth pants. Um, I always laugh though, because I have to have all black outfits to walk by stage for shows and things. And people are like, it must be uncomfortable to be running around in black jeans. Where do you find black jeans in the off season? I don't. I wear sweatpants.
Hmm.
Does anyone say anything? Who's going to say something? What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Fire me? Okay. Good luck with that one. I'd like to see it, but okay. I mean,
The other thing I've noticed is men can wear the same thing every day and no one will ever say a word, whereas people tend to notice if women repeat outfits. Well,
mhm.
now I just own multiple black shirts, so I just wear the same thing every day because I have black pants and black shirts, and that's 95% of what I own. And it's so much nicer because now I don't ever have to think. I don't ever have to think in the morning because I own the same shirt multiple times to just keep wearing.
I can't argue with that. I do that with clothes that I like. I'll buy it in every color.
Hmm.
I don't
Yep.
see why not. Listen, if Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Chucky, the girl for what is it? Sahira from The Ring, Sabrina? No, that's not it. Anyway, they all wear the same outfit
And we all
every
like it.
time. Nobody says nothing. So I will buy the same outfit in multiple colors. Ooh, I see. Sir X-Men. Hi. From Dusk Till Dawn is one of my favorite vampire movies. From Dusk Till Dawn is one of my. I actually, that is a really good vampire movie. That's a vampire movie where they actually make being sexy and scary work together. Because
Hmm.
when she's being sexy, you don't realize she's that terrifying. So it actually works out well because by the time she's terrifying, you're not supposed to find it sexy anymore. They're not playing it off like
Yeah.
super sexy vampire. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, they did shots for the male glaze. You are not donuts. Well, I mean, maybe. Anyway, point is, they did that one well, actually. They did that really, really good. In that movie, if you were lucky enough to see it when it came out and you were most likely one of the people, the hundreds and thousands of people that never saw the trailer, I never did. You had no idea what the hell you were walking into. I thought it was a robbery type movie. I walked in and I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, when she turned into a vampire, I was like, what the? Anybody else know this? I thought it was just going to be those two and, what's his face going on a killing spree type thing. That's what I thought it was going to be. But yeah, the whole vampire twist was awesome.
So last time we had talked about zombie movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I watched Night of the Living Dead.
Nice.
I can't believe that the whole time the lady was saying, I think we can just escape, and no one listened to her. They all could have just ran away. And I noticed that just run because the zombies walked. No one ever went fast at all. So, like, even if you made a little bit of noise and one of them found you, like, you could just run for a little bit and get ahead of them. Like,
yeah.
I thought that was a good movie, though. That was a good movie. I do like, spoiler alert for, I'm the only one who never saw it before, so I'm really not spoiling anything. But I kept saying that the dad, I was like, oh, I hope his daughter, kills him, because it was obvious that she was going to become a zombie. And I was like, oh, I hope that she kills him. So I was happy. It was even better that he just, at the end, she got him. Oh, we saw the remake. See, I don't even know which one we saw. We saw the remake.
It's okay. The remake was pretty. Oh, that's funny. The remake, that particular remake actually is a shot for shot remake. It's Cabin Fever. It was Cabin Fever before Cabin Fever. They did the exact same movie, just with different people. Same setting, same everything. Updated graphic or special effects is about all it was.
And we didn't know it when we went to watch it. So it was released on October 19th of 1990, and we watched it October 19th, 2024. We didn't know that. That was the movie that we picked. So we watched a whole bunch of horror movies yesterday. We watched a Ricky Lake horror movie.
Ricky Lake.
Hold on.
Oh, Serial Mom. Yeah, Serial Mom, isn't that what it is?
Nope. But was it called Skinner? Maybe. Yes, it's called Skinner. It has Ted Raimi, Ricky Lake. It was weird. So how you were talking about how in a lot of horror movies people like live in these safe areas and everyone leaves the door unlocked. Well, in this universe, somehow there's just an unlimited number of prostitutes in this town. Didn't really seem to be much crime except for the character, but there's a whole lot of prostitutes. It was a really weird movie, but yeah, Ricky Lake was in it.
I can say I don't know anything about this one. I can say I haven't heard of this one. I'll have to check into it later. I've seen some of the movies that they're like, people have also been interested in these movies. I've seen some of those interested movies, but
it was bizarre. If you're going to check it out, I will ruin for you what happens, but it was. It also has Tracy Lords in it.
Oh, I loved her. Love her. I think she's interesting. I like her acting's always interested me. She plays random characters. I like her in Crybaby. Is that it?
I love Crybaby. I love that movie.
She's really good in that movie. The movie's cute. I like that movie a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on Blu-ray. Look at that being fancy. Well, I'll be damned. Still haven't heard of it, though.
I didn't hear of it at all, either. But Perry gave us all the movies to pick from, and that's what we went with. So, yeah, I didn't know it existed. Don't ever need to watch it again, either. That's okay.
I can't blame you. That's how I feel about Frankenhooker.
Frankenhooker.
It's a really bad movie that a lot of
So
horror fans insist you have to watch because it's some kind of like,
is Frankenstein a hooker?
yeah, pretty
Okay,
much.
I didn't know if Frankenstein was a hooker or visited a hooker or both, I guess. But
Well, yes and no, yeah. Frankenhooker, yeah, she's basically the bride of Frankenstein if she were a hooker. Um, no, there's an Emma, I want to say Emma Stone movie that came out not too long ago where she plays a character very similar from what I've heard from other people because I didn't see the actual movie. Apparently, it's just a much bigger budget of Frankenhooker. Like they just pretty much made the movie over again. Um, it's not something I ever need to watch more than once, in my opinion. I don't know why so many people loved it in the horror community. I don't think it's great at all, but that's just me. I think it's more of one of those
a medical student
inappropriate
sets
things.
out to recreate his decapitated fiancee by building her a new body made of Manhattan street prostitutes.
And he uses a hooker's brain. That's why she's a hooker. Yeah, I said.
Okay, so Dred said that you met and talked to the actress. Are you talking about the actress from Frankenhooker? Patty Mullen, who was Elizabeth? Is that who you're talking about?
I don't know. Listen, I met a couple of people at some conventions. I've met some actresses at some conventions. So I honestly don't know. I couldn't tell you. The only one I can for sure think of off the top of my head is I saw the actress from the original I Spit on Your Grave. Um, she doesn't like to do interviews and things, but she's a real nice lady, very sweet, very very nice.
Okay, so the mini biography. So it was Patty Mullen that you guys met. Her mini bio is luscious and sensuous, well-built brunette stunner. Patty Mullen was an actress and model who, alas, only acted in 2 movies during her regrettably short-lived cinematic career. She was the Penthouse Pet of the Month in August '86. She was the Pet of the Year in '87. She was in Doom Asylum,
Mm.
and then she was in Frankenhooker. Oh, and she appeared as a judge in the televised wrestling program Clash of the Champions.
Yeah, that's funny. Ah, so, okay, we met her at Tampa Bay Screams. No, that makes sense. Yeah, that would make sense. I met a couple different people at that one, so yeah, I met some of the guys from Terrifier, the first movie Terrifier, and a few others. I met quite a few people at that convention. Actually, I'd have to look to see. Also, it's been like 2-3 years. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Um. Oh, that's cool. Supposed to drive Eddie Monster to Massachusetts. That'd be cool. Although, has he done anything other than the monsters? Because I don't think he did anything other than the monsters. I can't recall him in anything.
Yeah, I don't know what else he did.
Hmm.
Yeah, so Anthony, he always works at Monster Mania. So I
Mm-hmm.
told him he's got to let me know when Eric Roberts ever goes back to Monster Mania so I can go stalked by my doctor. Have you ever seen any of those movies? We
Which
got
one?
Stalked by My Doctor.
No.
Okay, so I just love Eric Roberts in general. So I was just watching TV one day, flipping through, trying to find something, and there was a Lifetime movie on, and it had Eric Roberts. So I go, okay, well, I'm going to watch it. This is, it's exactly what you would think from a Lifetime movie. So it was Stalked by My Doctor. It is hilarious, and it totally has a cult following now, and they've made like 4 or 5 of them. Like, it's just, oh, it's great. It's great. So then he's been going to he goes to different Monster Mania type conventions, but he hasn't been there in a few years. So I hope he comes back.
Oh, that's funny. That's too funny. I wonder if the idea for that was the dentist series. There was a there's a movie series with, I think there's only two movies. The Dentist. It's just called The Dentist. And it's an they're interesting movies. They're interesting. I mean, and quite frankly, they go exactly the way you'd expect them to go. They're fun. They're fun to watch. I wish they would have made more of them. It's been too long now. I
Mhm.
don't think it would be the same if they tried to do them now, because they were from, I think they're from the 90s. So it wouldn't feel the same. It wouldn't be, the fashion's not right for it. You got to have that 90s corny fashion for it, and
Mhm.
no cell phones. I think cell phones would probably ruin the plot line. Yeah. Well, but
So I'm trying to see what else. The only other ones I have on my list
mhm,
is I have the Halloween movies, which I mean those are a classic. I love them. The last Halloween movie that came out though had
mm.
that really long, awkward dancing in the bar. I could have done without that. That was just ridiculous. And that's like what I remember about the entire movie. Um, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I think I might have only seen the first one. I don't know if I saw any other ones. So that's what rounds out my list.
Nice, nice. I could go on a tangent and just start listing all of them. I mean, there's too many, but let's go with there's been a few mermaid movies that I've found interesting. Those usually don't do well.
Did you
I
just say
wish they do.
mermaid movies?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like a horror mermaid movie?
yeah. And I'm not talking like, it's not the Little Mermaid horror movie. No, no, no. There's sirens, and they are not good people.
I don't think I've ever even knew that they made horror mermaid movies. I mean, I guess why wouldn't they?
I think one of them's from, I think one of them's like Norwegian
Okay.
or something. Real good movies. Uh, but unfortunately, America doesn't do well with that.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be pretty.
Well, at this point, though, why are they not making like a Jason Momoa mermaid horror movie?
I don't know why Jason Momoa hasn't been in a horror movie yet, but I'm kind of disappointed in the fact that he hasn't played like an oversized murderer of some kind or an oversized victim. One of the two. I'm kind of disappointed because it used to be in the 80s and the 90s, if you think about it, all your movie stars, for the most part, played in some kind of horror movie in some way, somehow. It seems like they skip over all that now and go straight to like really big movies, and they don't get
He
embarrassing old roles anymore.
he would be a good werewolf.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, he would be a good werewolf.
Because he's not in real life, it's not like he's so hairy that it's like weird. But I feel like if you he's hairier than the average person though.
Mm.
So I think it would be good in the movie because it'd be one of those things that it's like a little like just like a little hint that like, okay, this dude's just slightly hairy that you don't think of it, and then as you get in you're like, oh shit, it's because he's a werewolf.
Yeah, wouldn't be bad. Be funny. I actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna lie. No, I'd like to see him get crushed by a doll, by a small
A little tiny doll.
puppet doll. I want, like, I'm talking like, we need to bring Puppet Masters back, and he needs to be one of the victims in Puppet Masters. That's what I want to see.
Okay, well, I know that all the Hollywood directors are watching us right now. I hope you're taking notes of what we want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And you know what? For good measure, just because we're all tired of seeing him do stuff, you can go ahead and kill Tom Cruise in a movie too.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Don't care what his role is for very long. Don't care what he says. I just want him to not run or scale a building. I want him to be taken out like a normal person all the times he should have in every other movie he's ever been in.
I don't understand how he ever became like a huge action star. I look at that guy and I don't think that he has like the most amazing athletic ability. I don't think he seems like he's a rocket scientist. I don't know. He just seems like average soccer dad. Like, I don't understand how that dude became like America's action
He
person.
ruined the Mummy.
I don't get it.
Oh,
Okay.
RWK88. This is night, y'all. Love the show. Had to work this weekend. Aw, good night.
Yes, thanks. Yeah, thanks for the super chat, RWK.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Instead of white noise, do you have a little white noise machine that plays tractor noises to lull you to sleep?
I wonder how relaxed
that actually probably would be soothing, but no. Thank you so much, RWK. Have a good night.
Hope it's easier than my weeks usually, though. I mean, this week should be fairly easy-ish. I'm going to rule the world.
Just hate being an adult sometimes. Work gets in the way of everything fun.
Yeah, adulting sucks sometimes. Responsibilities are a pain in the ass. That's all it is. It's responsibilities. Everything else is a come or go, but it's responsibilities that are a pain in the butt cheek.
Yeah. And I hate sometimes too that, like, you know, there's a question at work. And they ask me, and then I'm like, oh shit, like I'm the adult. I'm the one who has the answer. Like, wait, no, that's not supposed to happen.
I have that moment too where I'm like, hold on, let me, and then I'm like, I remember, I'm like, damn it. I am the one that has to figure out the problem. Damn it.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to have to solve this. I was really hoping I could pawn it on somebody else. Let someone else deal with it.
Yeah.
Fix the problem.
Like, yeah, I don't want to be the adult.
No. I did that actually this weekend. I had a teenager ask me for something, and I was like, yeah, hold on, let me find you an adult. And I stood there for a second and went, shit.
He's like, oh shit, that's me. Yeah.
Yeah, nope. Okay. Forget I said that. Pay no mind. Pretend that you have respect for me now that you've heard me say something stupid.
Yeah.
You know, because teenagers there is no room for forgiveness with those little kids. If you show weakness, it's game over. All respect's gone. You might as well just lay down on the road at that point and just kick it.
So I say, if Batman's back in the chat, I can't chat back to you, but I see you. So I want to say hello. He's over in the Rumble side of the chat, so that's why I don't know. Okay. That's why I don't know how to chat back, but I can see it. It pops up. So
I see it. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Well, I have no idea how. I don't have a Rumble. I don't have a Rumble account, and I don't know if my husband does or not. It probably does.
Yeah, I don't know. I would think that, I don't know. I thought it would be like on the screen. I don't know. Like I said, I don't see it. But I just wanted, we weren't ignoring him. So when we didn't chat back, I just wanted to let him know we do see him there.
20 years ago, 90210 was coming out on DVD when you worked at Best Buy. My employee was a young kid who didn't know what 90210 was.
Told to ask his parents.
I'm not that old.
Yeah, 20 years ago, someone didn't. Well, I guess 90210 was. Oh, God, is 90210 40 years old? No, it's not. It's only 30 years old, right?
Wait a minute.
What year did it come out in?
Wait a minute. No.
It started in 1990. So that's 34 years, right?
Wow. Look at that being old.
Ugh.
Hey, my first suggestion popped up is Tracy Lords. I love her. I do. I love her. She's so pretty.
Someone I know from work was telling me on Friday that she was going to an 80s party.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know, I forget exactly how old she is, but she's like mid to late 30s is how old she is.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, I'm going to an 80s party, but she didn't know what to wear because she didn't grow up in the 80s. Like she was, I think she might have been born in the 80s, but she was like a baby. You know what I mean? She didn't grow up in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes, I texted my older neighbors to see if they had anything to borrow. And I go, by older neighbors, do you mean people in their 40s? Or do you mean like old people? She's like, I didn't say my elderly neighbors. They're just older because they're older than me. And I was like, I can't believe you refer to people in their 40s as your older neighbors.
She needs to be stopped.
Yeah.
She needs to be stopped and reprimanded. How dare she? Dare she? It's the 80s, not the 20s, for crying out loud. It's just
Well, then she
bad
thought then.
patterns, then things that mismatch.
Well, then she thought that like the 80s were back in style now, and I was like, hell no, it's the 90s that kids are wearing now. And she's like, but what about those like giant jeans? And I was like, Junko jeans. I don't even know if that's how you say it. That's how I've always said it. I was like, those jeans were so big, like you could fit a person inside your pant leg. And I was like, that is 90s. That is not 80s. That is 90s. Like, I didn't own them, but I remember when I know the exact kids in school who wore them. Like, yeah.
Oh, I had a couple of pairs, and they were like my favorite pants. And I know that Jinko came back out with pants, and they released some pants. I'm gonna stop anyone who says, "Oh, they are not the same." It is garbage.
Are they not as big?
No, they're not. They're weak, and they're ugly at that. I want the basic jeans, like just a little patch with the J and maybe a character right by the pocket. And I want big ass pockets that I can stuff half my arm into. And
Pockets,
I want the bottoms of them to be like
the size of your waistband. Yeah.
I want to be able to fit like 4 people in there. And yet then I will buy them and wear them again. What they've got now is just a cheap imitation with an ugly stripe down the side, no patch. No. Stop. Go away.
That's when you could actually have good size pockets in your pants. I hate now men still get pockets, women don't get pockets. I don't know why clothes manufacturers think we don't have anything we're carrying around with us, but we need pockets too.
I asked this question earlier today.
We need pockets.
She actually asked, and she made a point to actually ask her father. She's like, "Why don't I have pockets?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there, and I looked over at her, and I'm like watching. And she's like, she looks over at, and she looks at Deadpool. She's like, "Why don't I have pockets?" And he looks over at me, and I was like, "I don't know. It's a big scheme to keep us.
It is
it's to keep us buying crap."
Big purse is lobbying the clothing companies don't make pockets.
Deadpool's like, it's the fashion industry making you buy purses on purpose. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. They want us to buy bags.
The worst is when you have fake pockets. It looks like you have a pocket and there's nothing there. Like, don't taunt me. Just don't even put one.
That's why it always cracks me up when whenever I show people my costumes, I get really excited when I'm showing my costumes. And I always tell them, like, this is how you know we made these costumes versus buying them or having them.
Because they got pockets.
All mine have pockets.
Yep.
All of them have pockets. And I'm not talking like, I don't have like, no. That is not, that is weak pockets. I have a pocket on one of my skirts that's like this. I can fit a water bottle, my phone, a remote. It's great. It's fantastic. We made them huge. It's like, listen, I need pockets, especially in costume, because I don't need to carry my phone and, whatever else. I'm supposed to be a character.
So Dredd said, why do you need pockets when you have a purse or a guy to hold your shit? Well, maybe we wouldn't need a purse or a guy to hold our shit if we had pockets. Right? That would solve the problem. I don't have a purse. I have a little like wristlet thing that I carry though, and my phone, keys. But then Perry doesn't ever have pockets. So like when we went and played mini golf a couple weeks ago, I had to put his phone in my pocket.
Oh, see, that's not
And I
fair.
didn't have very big pockets, but I was like a chipmunk there with this little crap that I had shoved inside.
Oh, that's funny. That's too funny. We'll try to pull. We have to have pockets because we're not always with guys or other people, and we don't always feel like carrying purses.
Yeah, let's say we wouldn't need that stuff if we had normal pockets.
Besides, well, especially when I'm going to do car loop, if I'm going to do drop off Tiny Giant, I am not trying to carry a 10-pound bag out the door. I want my keys, my phone, maybe my coffee. Depends on if I'm trying to burn the world down or not. You know, I'm just saying, we don't want to be carrying around a purse. Not to mention, in my case, I have a child, and then she'll bring Kip, and then she'll ask me to hold it, or she'll just set it in my purse, and it's not a good time.
And I know that fanny packs have been making a comeback, but they're still fanny packs.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can get on board with that.
I'm not doing it. I didn't do it in the 80s, and I'm not doing it now.
Although when I was a kid, I had a fanny pack that looked like a slice of watermelon. It was hot shit. Just saying. I was also like in fourth grade or something, so you know.
Hey, mental minor. Oh, that's too funny. Watermelon.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing, though. That sounds cute.
It was a little slice of watermelon. It was great.
I used to have a teddy bear purse. It was a teddy bear that was like hollowed out with straps. The thing was awesome. I got excited. I'm not even gonna lie, when I saw that they were kind of making a little bit of a comeback recently. I was like, oh, okay, if I see one at the store, I might just have to buy it. That's why I'm not allowed to go to Target. They have all our old stuff in there right now, and I like the 90s fashion. I feel like that was probably better use for fashion, honestly. It was a little more comfortable. But let's be real, it's one of the few eras in which we kind of matched. You know what I mean? Like, we weren't wearing like opposite patterns and like mismatched colors and stuff. Like, we were trying to match on purpose. Like, I feel like it was a pretty decent year. That, and we had like wide-legged pants.
Hey, give me a good boot cut. I'm with you. I feel like it was a more comfortable time, that you weren't like you. I don't know. You watch TV now and you see what people are wearing, and it's like, you must be miserable. You must be absolutely miserable wearing that. There's no way in hell that is comfortable. Whereas the 90s, people look presentable, but they also look comfortable.
Here's my thing with fashion today. This is my only thing that I can really say. I can't be alone. I know I'm not alone. I see a lot of men with pants that are tighter than anything I would ever attempt to wear, or that I have ever worn. And I used to wear tight pants when I was younger. Like, I'm talking like I had to lay down on the bed and have my friends zip them up and button them tight, you know. But I see some men, grown men, wearing pants that look like they're painted on, and I just, while they can't be comfortable, I just want to know, how do you not pinch your balls? Because I'm looking at you wearing these, and all I'm thinking is like, I'm hurting for you, thinking like my camel toe would get pinched in pants that tight, and I'm just like,
I don't know. I'm thinking of Florida. It must be getting kind of swampy in there too. Like, there's no airflow.
Why is this a fashion for you guys now? Do you not care about them at all? Does it not pinch you? Or are they numb to the being pinched? Have you pinched yourself for preparation for this?
They just want to show it off.
I have questions.
They just want to show it off. That's all.
I have questions. And they don't look impressive. It just looks painful and awkward. And quite frankly, a lot of you look like you have a stick up your ass.
Seriously,
you should not be. Your pants should not be that tight. You're bow-legged. Let it go.
From a logistical standpoint, like in 100% honesty, I don't understand how people physically get the pants over their feet. Like, how does, like, they're so tight. I don't understand how your feet and your ankle and where it bends, how the hole was big enough to even get the pants on you. I don't get it.
I'm just concerned. I think it's uncomfortable. I think it'd be very uncomfortable.
Maybe you should go up and ask somebody next time you see someone. Excuse me, sir. I'm just wondering about your ball health. I notice your pants are kind of tight.
Do you pinch them beforehand? Is this like a preparation thing, or do you tuck and tape like drag queens? I'm just curious. And if you don't want to tell me, fine, keep your secret.
And they're like, ma'am, I'm just trying to buy my groceries. Please leave me alone.
Man, we're in 7-Eleven. I'm just trying to pay for gas.
If we would have showed off, wear sweatpants to let them swing.
It's got to be much more comfortable. Much more comfortable. Just saying. Like I said, the tightness of it all just question.
Stretchy denim. Maybe it is stretchy. I don't know, because I'm with you. And I wonder too, like, these pants are so tight, like it looks like you're gonna sit down and bust the seam open. And then because they're so tight and like the perfect length, which is probably the proper length, but then when you sit down and it's like 6 inches like up, it's like the middle of your calf. Right? Because when you stand, they are like perfectly at your ankle.
I just feel weird about it because, like, I've literally have said to teenage girls, stop wearing pants this tight. Your vag needs to breathe, bro. And I can't imagine like looking at another guy and not saying, stop wearing your pants so tight. Like, don't your balls got to jiggle a little or something? Like, isn't that a guy thing? Like, it's the version of let it breathe, right? So, like, I can't imagine that's comfortable in any way, shape, or form. I just want to know if it pinches when you walk.
Well, hopefully it's going out of style now. Hopefully, because the 90s clothing is coming back, things will loosen up a little bit. Because I don't even think it looks good either. It looks just uncomfortable because they're not wearing fitted clothes. Yeah, they're wearing painted on clothes. It doesn't look good. It does not look good.
It's just, as someone who deals with clothing, I don't think it does well. I don't think it accentuates anything good at all.
No.
It definitely isn't hiding anything for sure. That's so if you got chicken legs or bow legs, we're seeing them. And I'm just saying, bow-legged is kind of a hereditary thing. And that's something you should be advertising to the ladies. The 80s.
So are we gonna have a serial killer movie, but the guy is trying to chase you, but his pants are so damn tight that like you jump over a fence and he can't get over the fence because he can't lift his leg high enough to get over because his pants are too damn tight?
Well, we've had a movie about a killer dress, a killer weave, killer couch, killer sofa, killer tire. I don't see why not. And we also had the movie with all of the machines coming to life, not the Terminator, but that one too. Yeah, why not? It seems fair. Killer pair of jeans. That sounds about right. It seems, for all I know, there might be one. Who's to say? I know there's a killer mattress.
Okay, so before you said who was the second president. So John Adams was the second. I thought he was the third. He was the second president. Was John Adams. So we're gonna have that John Adams comes back to life, and to try to blend into today's society, John Adams is wearing painted on pants as he's going out to hunt vampires.
Okay. I think we need to make this movie. He needs to fight zombies during the day and vampires at night.
Yeah.
And then, like, twice a month, werewolves.
He's going to have a stupid little faux hawk. He's going to have, really tight pants.
We're on it. Making this movie. I will write the script. We're going to do it, damn it. Game on. Well, guys, it has been amazingly fun. And I appreciate you all sitting here and listening to us. Listening to me babble about random things.
I know it's been fun.
It has
Yeah,
been fun.
we took a left turn off of horror, but
Oh yeah. We'll make it back next week. We'll make it
yeah,
back next week. Don't worry. But it is 11:50, so I think we should
yes,
probably get going. So every one of you can go pretend you're going to go to sleep for your jobs tomorrow. I can't be responsible for you staying up all night in this way. And feel free to rewatch this movie over and over and over
yeah.
again. That's fine. That I can't be held accountable for, but we're going to get up the lives for now. But we'll be back next week, and I don't know, maybe I might put a more thought into it. Probably not. My birthday's next Friday. I'll probably be planning something for dinner for that instead. Nobody in my house likes mushrooms, so I'm going to go get like chicken Marcella.
Nice.
I can get steak anytime I want something I don't eat and that I can't have at the house. So just because it's too much of a pain to cook it because no one else eats it. So, but with all of that unnecessarily said,
Yes.
I'm Death Dealer.
And I'm Pink Piggles.
And we'll see you guys next week with more horror movie talk because it's October still for a little while longer.
One more week.
So with all of that being said, have a good night, everybody. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.